set the alarm for 5 a.m. You swore to yourself tonight would be different, that tomorrow you would finally become the man you're supposed to be. The clock hits 4:59 a.m., and your hand, moving on its own, finds the phone. Snooze. Just 9 more minutes. Just 9 more minutes in the warm, familiar haze. That's the deal you make, and you break it every single time. You think the problem is your alarm clock, your schedule, your lack of motivation. You've been sold a lie that discipline is something you do, a checklist, a set of rules, a punishment you inflict upon yourself for not being good enough. And so, you white-knuckle your way through the day, fighting yourself, until you inevitably collapse back into the comfort, back into the scroll, back into the fog, and the guilt settles in. A little heavier this time, because you tried, and you still failed. What if you've been looking at it all backwards? What if discipline isn't a cage you build to imprison your weakness, but a fire you forge to incinerate it? There's a story about the greatest swordsman who ever lived, Miyamoto Musashi. By the time he was 30, he was undefeated. He had killed his most skilled rival in a duel on a remote island. And what did he do after the greatest victory of his life? He didn't celebrate. He didn't rest on his reputation. He walked into a cave, and for 2 years, he did nothing but study his own technique. He analyzed every move, every breath, every moment of that fight. The winner spent 2 years obsessing over why he almost lost. This seems insane to the modern mind. We want the result. We want the victory lap. We want the six-pack and the $1 million and the respect. We want to have disciplined ourselves. Musashi wasn't interested in having discipline. He was interested in being disciplined. His body, in that cave, was just the vessel. His mind was the whetstone. His spirit was the steel. He wasn't following a set of rules. He was engaged in a single, continuous act of forging. He was becoming the weapon itself. This is the first crack in the lie. Discipline is not an action. It is an identity. Look at your own life. You see a man who should wake up early, so you fight with the man who wants to sleep. You see a man who should work for hours, so you wrestle with the man who wants to distract himself. You see a man who should be strong, so you shame the man who feels weak. You have fractured yourself. You're at war inside your own skull, and the battlefield is your life. This internal civil war drains more energy than any workout, any work project, any act of willpower ever could. The guilt is the exhaustion. The self-negotiation is the drain. You are a king, trying to rule a kingdom that is constantly rebelling against itself. And a kingdom in rebellion produces nothing. It only consumes. It only burns. The goal is not to win the war against yourself. The goal is to end the war, to unite the kingdom. And there is only one way to do that. You must find a forge hot enough to melt down the fractured pieces of who you are and hammer them into something new, something single, something solid. That forge is not a set of rules. It is a single question. A question so simple it becomes a weapon. A question you must ask yourself every time you feel that fracture, every time you feel the pull of the warm haze, every time you are about to negotiate with your own weakness. The question is this: what would the man I am becoming do right now? Not the man I am, not the man I was, the man I am becoming. That man is not a tyrant. He is not a drill sergeant. He is your future self. and he is waiting for you to build the bridge to him. He doesn't scream at you to get out of bed. He is already out of bed. He's already in the quiet of the morning, feeling the clarity that you crave. He doesn't force you to focus. He is already immersed in the work, lost in the flow state that you remember from a time you can barely recall. He is not fighting a war. He is building a legacy. Your hand hits the snooze button. The warm haze beckons. And in that split second, you have a choice. You can listen to the man you are, or you can ask the question, what would the man I am becoming do? And for a second, you see him. He is you, but solid, whole, at peace. And he doesn't hit snooze, not because he's stronger than you, but because he remembers what you have forgotten. That those first few seconds of consciousness are not a battle. They are a birthplace. They are where the day is forged. And he wants that, more than he wants the haze. He swings his legs out of bed, not with a struggle, but with a purpose, because he is not running from weakness. He is moving towards strength. He is not a prisoner breaking out of his cell. He is the warden walking freely in his own domain. This is the great shift, the end of the Civil War. You are no longer a weak man trying to act strong. You are a man in the process of becoming strong. And every single action, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, is not a test you might fail. It is a vote you cast for the man you are becoming. One vote doesn't win an election, but it shifts the momentum. It tells the entire kingdom which leader is gaining power. The weak king who promises comfort and distraction, or the strong king who promises clarity, power, and purpose. You wake up late. That's a vote for the old man. It's not a failure. It's data. It's a precinct report. You get distracted for an hour. That's another vote. But then you catch yourself. You close the tabs. You take a breath. And you get back to work. That is a vote for the new man. The kingdom is watching. The entire internal ecosystem shifts based on these votes. The guilt is a lie. The shame is a lie. They are propaganda spread by the old regime. The only truth is the vote. The only truth is the action. The action is the forge. And every single time you choose what the man you are becoming would do, you turn up the heat. You hammer the steel. You become less fractured, more whole. One day, you will wake up, and the alarm will go off, and there will be no negotiation. There will be no war. There will only be a man swinging his legs out of bed, not because he has to, but because he is that man. The forge has done its work. The fracture has been healed in the fire. The discipline you once sought is no longer a tool you use. It is the air you breathe. It is the man you are. This is the secret they never told you. The goal was never to have discipline. The goal was to become it. To let it forge you until all that is left is a man, whole, solid, and utterly unrecognizable from the one who once fought a war against his own soul. If you understood this, if you felt that fracture inside you and you're ready to build the forge, tell me in the comments what part of your kingdom is in rebellion. What is the one vote you need to start casting today? The Brotherhood is here. We are building forges. And if you're ready to go deeper, to get the protocols, the systems, the daily rituals that make this transformation inevitable, we are building it all over on Patreon. The link is below. Stop fighting yourself. Start forging. yourself.